The story begins on June 6, 1944 D-Day, with a harrowing scene as American soldiers approach the heavily fortified beaches of Normandy, France. Captain John H. Miller, a determined and seasoned leader, is among them, guiding his men through the chaos of the landing. As they hit the beach, the men face a brutal onslaught of gunfire from German forces. The air is filled with the deafening sounds of explosions, cries of pain, and the relentless rattle of machine guns. Captain Miller, despite the horror unfolding around him, pushes forward, trying to rally his men. The carnage is overwhelming. Soldiers fall left and right, some before they even reach the shore. The beach becomes a nightmarish landscape of destruction, but Miller and his squad press on, fighting for every inch of ground. Their mission is clear: secure the beachhead and push inland to gain a foothold in occupied France. After the brutal beach assault, Captain Miller and his squad finally secure their objective. But their relief is short-lived. Miller is soon given a new unexpected mission by his superiors. The orders are clear but unusual. He must lead his squad deep into enemy territory to find and rescue a single soldier, Private James Francis Ryan, who is missing in action. Private Ryan is the last surviving brother of 4. His 3 brothers have all been killed in action, and the U.S. government, in an effort to spare his mother the unbearable grief of losing all her sons, has ordered that Ryan be found and brought home. Captain Miller is conflicted about the mission, risking the lives of several men to save one, but orders are orders, and Miller is a man who follows them. Miller's squad is a diverse group, each member bringing their own strengths and weaknesses to the mission. There's the quiet and sharpshooting Private Jackson, the compassionate medic Wade, the cynical and tough Private Reiben, the optimistic Private Caparzo, and the intellectual Corporal Upham, among others. As they set out on their mission, they traversed the war-torn French countryside, encountering destroyed villages, displaced civilians, and the constant threat of enemy soldiers. The search for Private Ryan is fraught with danger. The squad engages in skirmishes with German troops, suffering casualties along the way. The men begin to question the wisdom of risking their lives for one soldier. Morale is low, and tensions run high as they struggle to understand the importance of their mission. As the squad moves deeper into enemy territory, they face increasingly difficult challenges. They encounter a machine gun nest, and, despite their better judgment, decide to take it out. In the ensuing battle, they lose one of their own, a loss that deeply affects the squad and adds to their growing sense of despair. The squad's journey is a grueling test of their endurance, both physically and mentally. They are constantly reminded of the horrors of war, and each loss they suffer brings them closer to breaking point. Despite the mounting losses, Captain Miller remains focused on the mission, driven by a sense of duty and responsibility to his men and to the mission they've been given. After days of searching and numerous skirmishes, the squad finally locates Private James Francis Ryan in a bombed-out village. Ryan is with a small group of paratroopers defending a strategically important bridge. When Miller informs Ryan of the deaths of his brothers and the order to take him home, Ryan is stunned, but resolute. He refuses to abandon his post, insisting that he cannot leave his fellow soldiers behind to defend the bridge alone. Miller is faced with a difficult decision. The mission was to bring Ryan home, but Ryan's refusal to leave puts Miller in a moral quandary. Ultimately, Miller decides that the only way to fulfill his duty is to help Ryan and his men defend the bridge. Captain Miller and his squad join forces with Ryan and the paratroopers to defend the bridge against an impending German attack. The battle that ensues is fierce and relentless, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The squad fights valiantly, knowing that they are heavily outnumbered and outgunned. In the midst of the chaos, Miller is gravely wounded. As he lies dying, he pulls Ryan close and gives him a final order. "Earn this." Miller's words are a powerful reminder of the sacrifice that has been made to save Ryan's life. The battle rages on, but the tide finally turns when reinforcements arrive, and the Germans are forced to retreat. With the battle won, Ryan prepares to return home. The weight of Miller's final words hangs heavily on him. He understands the enormity of the sacrifice that was made for him and is determined to live a life that honors the memory of the men who died to save him. Years later, an elderly Ryan visits the Normandy American Cemetery and Memorial. Standing before Captain Miller's grave, he reflects on his life and asks whether he has lived up to the promise he made to Miller. Ryan's family reassures him that he has led a good life, but the question remains in his heart. The story ends with Ryan saluting Miller's grave, a gesture of deep respect and gratitude for the man who led a squad of soldiers into the jaws of death to save him. The memory of Captain Miller and his men lives on, a testament to the bravery and sacrifice of those who fought in World War II.